All right, first we navigate through the parking lot. FSD always seems to navigate out of a parking lot better than navigating in a parking lot and getting to your exact location inside, you know, a parking structure. Seems like over the last couple months, FSD's gotten better at handling roundabouts. I had a free trial like 7 months ago maybe of FSD, and immediately within, you know, 20-30 minutes I hit a roundabout and I had to slam the brakes on because, you know, the car was not going to stop, or it was going to stop last second in the roundabout. But now seems to handle roundabouts pretty well. Going through some construction here in a second, it looks like. Surprisingly, FSD handles some construction areas pretty well. It knows, like, the cones are there, it knows to merge over. If there's a stop sign or a slow sign for the one-way traffic, it knows how to handle it pretty well. So that's pretty good. FSD seems to have pretty good decision making nowadays. You know, like, oh, this side of the road is backed up. It's going to be like that for a little bit. Let's go ahead and get around it. Save us some time. So the decision making on FSD is pretty good. Let's see how it handles this blinking red light here. It's the first time I've ever gone to this light, so I'm not sure you know, what's going on here, but there is a stop sign there. I think it's gonna take a second to, and is it gonna go or not? We got someone behind us. They're probably, yeah, they're honking. I'm gonna have to take over. Oh, and it's turning where I didn't want it to turn. Damn. Well, that usually doesn't happen like that, but that was sketchy. Yeah, it couldn't recognize that wasn't a full red light. There was a stop sign there, a temporary one, and then blinking red light. I think eventually it would have noticed, like, oh, this, even though there's a red light, it's not, even the, you know, that the fact that it's blinking and there's a stop sign means that I have to yield. I think eventually it would have taken off, but there was someone behind us and we were there for quite a while. And then that turn there that it wasn't supposed to make, we were supposed to go forward. I don't know why I did that. Possibly because I took over on the gas, but I don't think that's the case. So yeah, that's probably why you watch these videos. There's other YouTubers where they're just like, or people that post on Twitter where they're like, oh, FSD is the best thing in the world, like, it's perfect, and it's not the case. It's legit. I use it for 95% of my drives. But I mean, there's still a lot of flaws, obviously, and you'd expect that, obviously, you know, of course. It is getting a lot better, but there are situations where you do have to take over. And what's funny is, like, literally 20 seconds before all that happened, I was talking about how it handled construction areas well. But that was confusing, you know, like the blinking red light, all the cones around. There was like a temporary stop sign that was like way larger than a normal stop sign. So it needed time to think, and we had someone pissed off behind us, so I had to take over. Those are like the fringe cases, though, you know. Those are the things that are will take longer to get worked out, because Teslas with FSD and non-FSD, I believe as well, they're constantly sending data back to Tesla to train their computer models. And situations like that, they don't have a lot of training on. You know, for example, how many Teslas have driven just this road? And this is a small town. How many Teslas have just driven this straight road, you know, made a left and gone the speed limit and encountered these lights? Probably thousands or hundreds of thousands of times. That data is, you know, constantly being pushed back. But what we just ran into with that construction and the temporary sign, that was a different size, and the blinking red lights and the cones. I mean, you've probably only had, you know, I can't give you a number, but the amount of times that data has been pushed back to Tesla is obviously, you know, far less than your typical driving situation. So over time, Tesla will get more data on that, and it'll continue to do well. And oh, we're gonna have some trouble here. There's a red light and a green turn, and it's not knowing what to do. And I'm gonna have to take over so people don't get pissed. Yeah, is that another fringe case there? I'm not sure if you were able to see it with the camera in the background, but there was it's a weird sign. It's a weird light. There was a left turn signal, but right next to it, a red stop signal. So super confusing. You know, the Tesla did not know what to do. It registered a red light. So super confusing. I mean, obviously if you're in the left lane and you see a green turn light, obviously you know that it's your turn to turn, but the fact that there was two lights there is confusing. Just this couple minute drive here. And I didn't expect this because I've never driven in this area, but just within a couple minutes, I've seen more mistakes out of this Tesla. I mean, we saw really 3. That's more than you can see in like a 2-hour drive on the freeway. You know, it's like, that stuff's not super common. It's not common to have that many times you need to step in within a couple minutes. Otherwise, no one would use it. You know, no one would use FSD. So super uncommon, but a good thing to see. You know, are we ready for robotaxi? No. In those situations, what would you do? You'd have people honking behind you. Who knows how long you'd have been at some of those stops. So are we there yet? No. You know, we're in the first couple innings, as I keep saying. The rest of the drive, though, should be pretty easy. But I'm glad you guys are getting to see this stuff. all my criticisms of FSD, clearly I'm paying for it on a monthly basis, and it's not cheap. With tax, it's $107 a month. So obviously I have my criticisms, but the fact that I'm paying for it clearly shows what I think of it. It's definitely something worth keeping for me. And once you have full self-driving for like a couple weeks and then you go off of it, you're gonna miss it, because most of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, it's gonna work perfectly and do everything you need. And then there's some situations like that where you definitely get annoyed. But at this point, I wouldn't go without it. And the fact that like the technology is getting better, you know, sometimes there's an update every other week or every week or once a month. That's super exciting to like just go on your phone, see that there's a new update. You know, have it update while you're at home chilling or sleeping, and then the next day it's a little bit of a better driving experience. You know, that's super, super cool. I've only had it for like 2 months consistently, and it's been exciting to see some of the little updates and getting better. And I can only start to think of the people that have had it for, you know, years and have got to constantly see those progressions. It's super cool. So that's definitely one of the reasons I'm keeping full self-driving. A small percentage of the reason I'm keeping it is because, you know, I get to see the technology evolve, and that's super, super cool. But if the technology never advanced from here and this is how it was, I'd still keep it. Because as you see, driving to work, no hands, I can drink my coffee, eat some food. I don't have to worry about my foot on the brake and gas and making decisions.